Welcome to Local Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance in San Diego County today, joined by Dave Roberts. He is a member of the Board of Supervisors in San Diego County. And so I would like to speak with you about an issue that is crushing to discuss and even more crushing to consider. And it is domestic violence. You've been involved in this issue for quite some time. Why does this issue speak to you? What is it about it?
You know, October is the month that we focus awareness on domestic violence. And it's an issue that I've been passionate about for decades.
Why?
I've been active in the foster program in foster families. And my spouse and I have now adopted 6 foster children. And through working in our own situation and with many other foster families, we've seen domestic violence in action.
Could you dig deeper on that?
Well,
because you have personal experience.
Well, we've seen the effects of violence and why children have had to be removed from their biological families. And unfortunately, many times they can't be returned to their biological families. And therefore, they have to go to adoptive homes. And that's really why I first became interested in being an elected official. What could we do more? And so when I first came to the Solana Beach City Council and then to the County Board of Supervisors, I wanted to partner with my colleagues on the Board of Supervisors, the district attorney, the sheriff. What more could we do? So October is one of those months, even though we do it throughout the year, to really put awareness on domestic violence.
I'm glad you brought up the children, because so often we're focused on the partner victims, husband, wife, wife, husband, whatever it is. But there are children that are witnessing the domestic violence often, and the impact on them is dramatic.
Right. You know, the latest statistics we have, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 4 men, 18 or older, are the victims of domestic violence in their lifetime. And those are the 2015 statistics. Right. 18,000 domestic violence incidents were in 2015, which was a 6% increase. But 37% of all cases involve children. And
as victims.
As victims. And I've gone on ride-alongs. That's where they allow people to go out with public safety officials to see what public safety officers do. And I've seen children out there and what's going on with their biological parent. And you get to see what is being done out there and how these children need to be removed from harmful environments.
If you're willing to discuss this, I'd like to ask you about your children. You suggested that they may have witnessed or been victims of domestic violence. How are they doing? How have you worked as their adopted parent to bring them out of that cycle? See what they
so each case is different. Mm-hmm. One of ours was severely physically abused, and all 6 of our children are thriving. Any child is a different situation, and you have to work with each child. And again, San Diego County has a Live Well San Diego initiative, which promotes healthy lifestyle. That includes sports, that includes eating right, it includes not smoking, not using drugs, exercise. And we find this works for all children. But one of the things, and even the President of the United States and the First Lady promote healthy lifestyles, and we do that here in San Diego County.
Right.
And you have to have, I think, programs for our children, healthy, thriving programs for our children.
You mentioned Live Well, and earlier this year, you, along with the district attorney, along with Tanya Brown, the sister of Nicole Simpson Brown, who lost her life purportedly as a result of domestic violence, you had a panel discussion at the North Inland Live Well Center. What did you take away from it?
Well, we wanted to bring people together to talk about domestic violence, talk about what more could we do to help on this area, and what resources are currently available, because education is really important. We wanted to try to take the stigma away, because one of the things that came out of this session is that sometimes men are afraid to talk about domestic violence. They're afraid to tell people, I'm being abused in a relationship.
Both men in heterosexual and homosexual relationships.
Exactly.
And that's critical.
And there needs to be programs set up for that. There needs to be more programs for children. And so we have services, Community Resource Center up in Encinitas.
Let's talk about that because they are your biggest fan.
Well, Community Resource Center in Encinitas has a program when there's domestic violence, when a parent can bring their children to a safe location and protect the children. They also have a program now if they have a family pet. The family pet can go to a safe location and be protected so they don't have to worry. Because sometimes people don't want to leave a dangerous situation for what we might think is not a very smart reason. They don't want to leave because they can't get the children out, they can't get the family pet out, they can't do X, they can't do Y. We want to take those reasons away and give them hope and opportunity. So programs are being created for them. And community resource centers up in the North Coastal region is just one of those great programs. They're being honored in the month of October, but there's many other programs too like them. They have a house called Carol's House that is funded by community resource centers that provide a safe, healthy place where these mostly women and their children can go to get care.
I know this month you're working with the Community Resource Center on a clothing drive because if you consider, Supervisor, if an individual needs to escape from a domestic violence situation, my gut tells me they may not be able to grab a suitcase and pack their clothes, pack their children's clothes. And so they're escaping quickly. And they're going to need everyday wear. And that's why this clothing drive inspired.
Right. They need everyday wear. They need underclothing. They need shoes.
Toothbrushes.
Just the basic
Right.
essentials. Things that we don't even probably stop and think of. They need these things. So we've been collecting these things for them. And, you know, it's a great service to provide. And there's other organizations that also do drives such as this. And it's one way to help these people survive and really get on with their lives. But to hear somebody like Tanya Brown
Right.
talk about this, who really heard, and a lot of times people don't recognize these are life and death situations. People don't realize that words lead to life-threatening situations.
Well, verbal violence is just the first step.
And many people know that I actually was attacked back in 2013. October 2013, somebody jumped out of a van here in San Diego and tried to stab me. Fortunately, that person was arrested. They were put in Patton State Mental Hospital and had nothing to do with me. I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Not as an elected official,
Middle
per
of the
se.
day. Nope.
Right.
I was a county supervisor.
Mhm.
But it can happen to anybody, and that's the point I try to tell people. And when we talk about domestic violence, and it's one reason my colleagues on this board of supervisors are so passionate about improving services for behavioral health and mental health and trying to do new opportunities. We just opened 2 crisis stabilization units in North County, one at Tri-City and one at Palomar Hospital. We just opened our 7th crisis residential unit in Escondido because we have to have these services to try to reduce the stressors so that when these domestic violence situations don't reach this level, people can go get
Right.
the care.
Thank
that
you for
they
joining
need.
us, and thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
His name is Dave Roberts. He is a supervisor in San Diego County, where we are today. I'm Brad Pomerance. Look.